The story that we're also tracking this morning is IDBI, where they've filed to the exchange that they would be looking to sell stake in their non-core businesses. Kishor Kharat, MD and CEO, joins in on the phone line of IDBI Bank. Morning, Kishor. Thanks for joining in. Kishor, first up, we're talking to you regarding that exchange filing that you've made on looking at stake sale in your non-core business. Firstly, what qualifies as non-core business? And secondly, what's the quantum of stake sale that you're looking at?
See, let me tell you, this program about monetizing non-core assets is going on for almost 1.5 to 2 years. And this is one more actually step towards that. We have quite a few non-core assets by way of our equity participation as well as by way of our promoting certain businesses in insurance and all. So we would like to focus on our main business. So all these non-core assets, we are actually coming out of it. What we are expecting is by September 18, we should have at least monetization of non-core assets worth 5,000 crores.
Kishor, I've read reports that indicate that there's something you call family silver in the bank, and this involves investments that you've made in NSDL for that matter. Is that what you're looking to offload, given that those organizations are at a far more mature level today than they were recently?
Yeah, actually these investments were made with the intention of, gaining some benefits out of it. And I think we are at the right time now to reap those benefits. Whatever our investments are there in NSC also, those are at very, you can say, book value. So if we monetize and NSC particularly once IPO comes out, when we look at the IPO of BSC, we are expecting that there will be good pricing also we will get for the NSC. So this is the right time to monetize, and then we can actually use it for our capitalization.
NSDL mistake,
Mr. Kharat, in the month of September, you had sold incremental 1.5% stake in NSC. It was the second time in 6 months that you did that. What's the current holding in NSC? And would you...
We have another roughly around 1.5%.
1.5% residual in NSC. That's all in NSC. So you would be looking to divest this closer to probably listing?
Yes, correct.
Okay. What about other non-core assets? I mean, can you enlist some of the names for us as far as insurance and other ventures are concerned?
No, I would not like to enlist the names of those assets because these are price-sensitive assets, all of them. And it is not the right time for us to actually divulge any names. But NSC, since you asked me NSC, I am saying about NSC because it is all on the cards. And we have been speaking about NSC for quite a long time. It's already disclosed by us.
Kishor, is this a precursor to what the government is looking at in terms of IDBI? Because it seems like your IDBI is cleaning up its books just like the way Axis was cleaning up its books in the recent past. And because I know for a fact that the government has appointed, or IDBI has appointed, a bunch of bankers to execute the share sale of 6,000 crores. So is this a precursor to that?
I really can't comment whether it is a precursor, but if you look at the IDBI, I don't know, you as an analyst, you must have seen, IDBI has actually deeply rooted in various businesses. Being a development finance institute, we were promoting many businesses. Rather the startups and all what we are talking today, IDBI has been doing for the last 50 years, funding these startups. So we were actually taking even equity on many of those businesses. Now it is a time for us to actually get out of those businesses and focus on our main business of development banking.
Right. Kishor, I'm just going to bring up a couple of subsidiaries and associate companies of IDBI Bank. And I mean, of course, you're free to not tell me whether or not you're going to offload these, but I'm still going to ask you. I believe you've got about 27.9% in Biotech Consortium India. And of course, National Stock Exchange as well, you hold about 1.5% stake there. In terms of your subsidiaries, IDBI Capital Market Services, IDBI Asset Management, IDBI Intech, IDBI MF Trustee Company, and IDBI Trusteeship Services. So and of course, 48% stake is held in IDBI Federal Life Insurance. So any of these that will be on the block, apart from NSDL that you already mentioned?
Of course, those are also within our strategy, but many of them we would like first to list them also because all of them have started actually generating profits. So we were just waiting for them to break even and then make profits. We are also looking for the conducive atmosphere if it is there for listing them, and then we can actually realize the proper valuation for them. So if we get a proper valuation either by listing or prior to that, we will like to monetize them also.
So fair to assume that you'd be looking at listing IDBI Federal Life Insurance, because that's the one that gets talked about more often than not.
Yeah, in fact, all of them, if you whatever names you told, they deserve listing. Whether it is a trusteeship, whether it is IDBI Capital Market Services, we will explore the possibility of listing them.
Right. Mr. Kharat, for any of these entities, have any preliminary talks with iBankers been undertaken at all?
Not on a case-specific basis, but yes, for as a strategy for the divestment of non-core assets, we do consider these options. And we have been discussing with our merchant bankers also.
Okay. So this is possibly for listing or divestment. You have been in conversations with iBankers and merchant bankers over the last few months, I would assume?
Yes, of course.
All right. Mr. Kharat, let's move on to recapitalization and attainment of Basel III in terms of capital adequacy ratio. The government holds around 75% stake, right? So two things. One is the paring down of that stake, and in terms of recapitalization, if you can share something with us.
Recapitalization, government has already assured that wherever possible, wherever required, government will support all the banks. So I'm hopeful that government recapitalization will come to rescue of all banks as well as IDBI Bank. We are also on our own trying to meet all the Basel III norms. So hopefully we will meet all of them.
So what is the number? What is the capital adequacy ratio currently?
Currently, if you see Q3, we were above 11% CRAR.
Okay. Recently, there was a norm that was eased for issuance of AT1 bonds, coupon payments. So you can dip into your statutory reserves as well. Will you be looking for some of those other avenues apart from only depending on government recapitalization? Does it become more profitable or more, viable to service coupon payments?
No, we are actually exploring all possibilities. We would also like to, keep minimum pressures on the government resources. So therefore, this actually monetization of non-core asset is also one of the initiatives taken to release the capital out block into it. So we are actually open for all kind of options. Even real estate also last time, if you see, the Reserve Bank of India gave some after the revaluation. We took definitely the benefit of revaluation of our of our real estate, wherein we got some benefit out of capital. So we will keep on looking for those avenues also.
Kishor, we've also had Viral Acharya yesterday indicate, without mincing his words, that the NP concerns with a lot of these banks is a big concern. He's gone on to say that 20% of assets of banks is NPAs. He's also indicated that there would be, of course, various mechanisms to fix this problem, but also says that consolidation in the banking industry is very important, and he does believe that a fewer, healthier banks is the need of the hour. What do you have to say? Do you think consolidation, stake sales is going to be the grabbing theme of 2017?
Consolidation, I don't know how it is going to improve the health. Consolidation will be only the consolidation of the banks in as is health basis, right? So if you really want to improve the health, basically the underlying economic situation has to improve. Even today, core industries are actually under the depressed situation. There is no credit demand from these industries, and even smaller industries also credit demand is in a depressed situation. On one side, there is no credit demand. Other side, the existing assets, when they are actually getting downgraded, it creates pressures on the bank. So even the consolidated bank also will face those issues. So if the health of the bank is improved and then consolidation is done, I think, in my opinion, we will be able to reap more benefits out of that consolidation.
Sure. Again, I know you don't have to answer this, but I'm still going to ask you. There are reports from the financial ministry that it seems like IDBI or the government could be eyeing privatization of IDBI Bank. Anything on this? Can you share details with me of the kind of timeline we're looking at? Because from the sound of what they're saying, it only seems inevitable once the cleanup of NPAs is done for IDBI Bank.
The government has actually shown their intent for last more than a year. The last budget, in fact, they have very categorically mentioned about it, and they have been working on it. Right. Only thing, when we are talking about the divestment stake, there has to be proper pricing also, and there has to be proper methodology, which subsequently should not become questionable. So I think government is working on that, and when time comes, they may materialize their intent.
Right. Mr. Kharat, before we let you go, for the recent quarter, your gross NPA number spiked over 2% in percentage terms, 15.16, and the gross number is 35,000 crores. Do you feel that the worst is behind us, or could this number be higher? What is your SMA-2 book quantum right now?
No, SMA-2, as I said in the initial, my opening remarks, the economy is still under the tremendous pressure, particularly the core industries where IDBI is highly exposed. So that pressure will continue, but these are all numbers which have gone 2% what you are talking, which is because there are many cases under the SDI which have failed within the 18 months timelines. We have requested Reserve Bank of India to look into some relaxations. We have actually requested Government of India also to intervene and get us some relaxations on these resolution mechanisms. If Reserve Bank of India relaxes them, I think many of the industries, many of the units, we will be in a position to actually provide the resolution mechanisms. If that is provided, obviously the pressure on this asset quality will get reduced to great extent. So we are looking forward for some relaxations in at least in FY18, so that then we can really work on resolutions.
Point well taken, sir. If you can just share the number, the SMA-2 book number.
SMA-2, actually, if you see, SMA-2 is not much now, because most of those accounts which are under the watch list, they are getting downgraded quite a fast.
Right, thanks, Kishor, for talking to us, and good luck with trying to sell some of your stake in your non-core businesses. That was Kishor Kharat of IDBI Bank talking about how they would be looking to offload some of their family silver that they've acquired over a long period of time. And, of course, listing some of the entities that they invested in is still on the cards for the company. IDBI Bank, huge NPAs, those worries still pertain for the bank, and the government still looking to privatize this one. Well, just a quick check on how pre-open is doing in early minutes of trade. The market itself was indicating an opening above levels of 8,900, so sticking to those levels from yesterday, and it's looking much better than what we were working with. 20 points higher on pre-open is what we're getting in, 0.2% higher. 89.30 is an opening.